Jacksonville Beach Special Magistrate hearing in accordance with Florida Statutes Chapter 162 and the City of Jacksonville Beach Code of Ordinances is to reach an equitable expedition to enforce the codes. The city presents the violation and evidence to the special magistrate. Next, the property owner is sworn in response to the violation and evidence. Both the city and the property owner may call witnesses to provide sworn testimony relevant to the case. This is a quasi-judicial hearing, not a public forum. Individuals not called as sworn witnesses will not be heard.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wayne Flowers. I serve as Special Magistrate for the City of Jacksonville Beach for Code Enforcement. In a minute, the Code Enforcement Officer, Ms. Beavers, will call these cases one by one. She will provide me with sworn testimony regarding the nature of the matter. And after that, you will be given an opportunity, if you choose, to provide testimony or evidence regarding the matter. You will be sworn as well. So when your case is called, please come forward, and after the code enforcement inspector has completed her testimony, then you'll be given an opportunity to address the matter. I'll have some questions for you and also for Ms. Beavers as we go forward. So would you like to swear Ms. Beavers before we start?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and position.
Nikki Beavers, City of Jacksonville Beach Code Enforcement.
Okay, Ms. Beavers, where would you like to begin?
We're going to start out of order today. I do have two respondents that are present, so we will skip down to letter D, case number 23. 130, which is 1121 North 3rd Street.
That was G?
D.
D, okay, I'm sorry.
D is in,
823 3rd Street. Okay.
yes. No, D, 1121 North 3rd Street.
Oh, got it. Sorry.
Okay. This case was in reference to outdoor advertising and outdoor sales. As you can see on the property where there is merchandise that is in the parking lot, I started getting complaints around December of last year. The property owner was not cited until September of this year. I had to do a little bit more research into what was allowed and what, if there was any special use or conditional use that had been issued. So as you can see in September, well, from January, on this picture, you can see the merchandise out front. September, and I just had been checking periodically after I had given a verbal notice to one of the employees, letting them know that the merchandise couldn't be outside, and then it continued. So then that's when I sent a actual violation notice to the owners at this property. Okay, I did speak and meet with one of the employees there, which was Chris McMaw. Is it McMaw?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I did inform him of what the city ordinance was in regards to the violations that had been cited.
And when is the most recent time you inspected, and what was the date of the last inspection where you?
The last inspection was around October 19th. I did go by today to see as well, but the last one that I have documented was on October 19th.
And when you went by today, was there any merchandise outside the building?
It was this morning. It was not, but the building inspector did, David Martin, he did observe things out yesterday.
All right, we have a representative of the property owner, 1121 North 3rd Street, Inc.
Yes, Chris McMaw and Todd Whitten are both present.
Mr. Whitten is the owner of the property, W-H-I-T-T-E-N.
W-H-I-T-Z-E-N.
T-T-E-N, Whitten.
W-H-I, one T or two T?
Two T's. T-T-E-N.
And what's your first name, Mr. Whitten?
Todd.
Todd.
T-O-D-D.
And Mr. Whitten is president of the company or?
I own the Gregory Unit.
Okay. You want to swear?
If you'll please raise your right hands. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please each state your name and address.
Home address or work address? 1121 3rd Street, North Jacksonville Beach, Chris McMall.
Todd Whitten, 1121 3rd Street North, Jackson Beach.
Okay, Mr. McMahon, you going to speak first?
Yes, so I see the first picture there, which was a while ago, which has the sale sign on it. That was a special sale that we were running. Unbeknownst to me, I had no idea. We've been in business for 21 years in the same position on the corner of North 3rd Street. And not one time in 21 years has anybody ever come in and said, you can't have anything outside. In fact, most of Jacksonville Beach City Council and their families shop at our stores, and most people say, yeah, your store looks so inviting all the time. So on a daily basis, we put a handful of chairs outside, a wreath on our door, and that's about it. This one particular moment, there is a sale sign out front because we did have a sale sign. Now, I have our meetings from a previous time, and I asked, we got a final notice notification. I said, oh, what are the other notifications? I don't have any information on this. And she said, I don't have those at the time, you can ask for them, or something to that effect. So I called the city and spoke with and I have all this paperwork for you if you'd like to take a look as well. I spoke with the assistant to the city manager, what's her name? Molly Alliger, and I asked her if she could send me the dates of the violations along with copies of the violation and any pictures she had so that I knew what I was dealing with. She said, sure, no problem, I can do that. If you can do me a favor and email me a copy of the final notice and just your address and whatever else. And I said, okay, no problem. So I sent her an email, which I have a copy of as well, to which she replied with the dates of the infractions, but no other information other than like a 2-sentence blurb about having a special exemption or not having a special exemption, and we were not allowed to have a special exemption. And I said, okay, well, so I called her immediately, and I said, how would I get in contact with the person who can give me this information? She said, I don't have that information for you. I can't answer any more questions for you. You would have to talk to Miss Ireland. I said, okay, can I speak with Miss Ireland? And she said, no, you can't. She'll call you. I said, okay, no problem.
Who is Ms. Ireland?
I don't exactly know. I couldn't quite track that down.
The planning and zoning director.
Okay, and in addition to, I also called from the final notice, I called the chief of police, and his administrator said that he is not involved in any of this. He doesn't know what, or she said, I don't know what you're talking about. He doesn't have any jurisdiction over giving special exemptions. I said, okay, well, it's on the paperwork that you're in charge of that. So then I attempted to speak with the city manager again and left multiple messages, never got a call back. I also asked to speak with Miss Ireland and left her multiple messages, never received a call back. To this date, I haven't received a call from the city in any way, shape, or form. So that being said, on a daily basis, our store looks like this. Yeah, and I have copies of these for you as well. So there are no banners, no signs, no balloons, no. Yeah. So no balloons, no special instructions that would say sale. Sorry, I don't mean to just walk up on you. This is just a quick blurb I have, but also these are at least 21 other businesses on 3rd Street and the surrounding areas that have stuff outside for sale or kind of dirt. Yeah. And these are the pictures of which, all of which I've spoken with and said I've never had an issue from anybody in the city and never had a response from anybody in the city. So I can leave this up here if you'd like. And when I spoke with Ms. Beavers, she said, well, you can call the city, or I'm sorry, go online, and you can report other businesses in the area that are having these sales and whatnot. And I said, that's not my job, and I don't personally have an issue with it. It's a small business trying to be successful. There are, like I said, 21 other businesses that have some facet of sale sign or furniture or things of that matter in front of their businesses, all on sidewalks or on other modes of transportation. Ours is private property and set back from the road. There's no problems with egress or entrance. Between our doors where those chairs are located, there's 48 inches or more where you can swing the door open and easily walk through. It's not an impasse where you have to walk by something, and it's not a tripping hazard. So for those reasons, it is up under our awning. So those reasons tell me that based on the letter of the law that's written in this paperwork, that we aren't breaking any rules. The rules are on a sidewalk, on a street. We're not on any of those things. They're on our private property. And I do agree with, that picture, that there was a sale running, but every other time, we don't have anything of the sort.
Can I make a correction?
Hold on a second.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, as far as I know, we're good.
Okay.
I do want to make a correction about the notice. The first notice was sent out December 16th. So that was the first picture from 2022, December 12th. A notice was sent out December 16th, and then the second one was sent, because Molly, once Mr. McMahon contacted Molly, the city manager assistant, she did ask me for a copy of any violation notices that had been sent out. So the first one that I sent her was on December 16th, and then the second one that I sent her was for September 25th. So that's when the final notice came. And the way the case was started, another complaint came in from someone else, another business that had been cited.
Ms. Beavers, can you take a look at this?
And that picture was taken
Excuse me.
just for show. There's nothing outside our business at all.
Yeah.
If you can please speak into the microphone.
Oh, I'm
Thank
sorry.
you.
I just don't want to yell into it. I'm loud naturally, so. This is the only notice I have.
Okay.
So, and then after this notice, I immediately started down the track of basically following the rules, finding out permission, finding out how to contact the city manager, find out how to contact the chief of police. And at every turn, I've been basically run into a brick wall.
And the main thing was, when we asked about certain businesses, and she would say they get a special exemption, and that's what we want to know. How do you get a special exemption?
I'm going to ask that question myself in just a second.
And we never could find out.
All right. The first question I have, Ms. Beavers,
Okay.
is, the picture that I just showed you.
Yes.
If the items of display are off of the public sidewalk, on their property, does the city take the position that that is still a violation of the ordinance?
Correct. They consider that as outdoor sales. And I did explain that to Chris in regards to, as you can see, there's price tags on the merchandise, and they have it outside of their building.
All right, let's talk about the ordinance says you can't do it without obtaining permission from the city manager or the chief of police. How does one get the permission of the chief of police or the city manager when apparently they don't think that they have anything to do with it?
So when I did ask this question to the director, she stated that when this ordinance was created, that's what the policy was at the time. So they are looking into changing this. As Chris stated that he contacted the chief of police and they weren't aware that this is written in the ordinance, that they have to obtain that permission. The city manager, yes, but as far as the chief of police, they had no recollection, I can't even say the word, recollection that this was written in the ordinance. But when I did speak with the planning and zoning director, she stated that the outdoor sales were not allowed unless T. Gregory wanted to apply for a special use permit where it allows them 6 times out of the year to have a special event, such as the sale sign. If they have a sale, they can put their merchandise out 6 times a year, but they have to apply for that special event permit in our office.
So are you telling me that it is the city's intention to amend this ordinance to eliminate the ability to get permission from the city manager or the chief of police?
I'm not aware of the particular wording that's gonna be amended, but she did state that they are gonna take a look at this, ordinance to amend it. But as far as still having the items outside for sale, it's not allowed unless it's a special event.
There are no items outside for sale.
I mean, that's just our product. I mean, it's not a sale, it's,
I mean, short of that picture, which I agree with, and I'm okay with that picture there are no sale signs, there are no tags visible, and I have, the picture in front of you would be what we would put out on a daily basis.
But it's still considered your merchandise that you have for sale, even though after I came and spoke with you, you guys may have taken the price tags off, but each item that was listed on the pictures were items that you guys sell, and then even if you have it for outdoor seating, the city doesn't allow for outdoor seating, so you can't say that, oh, this is just for the customers, you're still advertising your merchandise.
So,
but I still don't understand why all the chain stores, she says has special exemption, the convenience stores have cases of water, ice machines, red box machines, Home Depot has hundreds of items. They all have tons of product outside, but your mom and pop local businesses, we can't put a chair outside. And so we can't get the special exemption that they got. That's the part, we're not trying to be, if it's fair on everyone. I just don't, and there's so many other places. The painted furniture place has stuff all outside. You know, if you're gonna enforce it, why can't you should have to force it on everyone, not pick and choose. It's like it's a discrimination.
yeah,
You're correct.
and that's,
I'll let you talk in a second.
So places like Home Depot, they're in a PUD, so they have special permission that they applied for, and that's what I was trying to explain to Chris, that yes, you see these things for other businesses, but you also don't know the details of what permissions they have received.
And that's what we keep asking, how do we?
so that's what I asked for when I called to speak to the city manager. My initial response was, I would like to know, just as public record, who has a special exemption in the city? Because I would love one.
I had
That's all I was
explained that
trying to
to you when you brought up Sportsmania, and I explained to you that Sportsmania,
Has
that you
their
get,
tents.
that they apply for a special
Yeah.
event.
Both of you, one person.
Okay, so I did explain to you that Sportsmania applied for a special event permit that allows them, and I told you you can do the same thing, and that the city manager is gonna give you the same exact answer that I gave you, that you come and apply for the special event permit, just so that you can do the same things that Sportsmania does.
Yes, but that's for their special event,
For
their
their special
tent
event.
sale. But they have clothing outside the doors every
That's
single
what's in
day.
that book.
And
On
they're
this website.
excited, they've been here
We've
before
had that
too.
vote.
Well, so I have 25 photos or 30 photos of just businesses driving up and down Third Street that took me 15 minutes.
Yesterday.
So yesterday, so they're less than 12 hours old. All of those businesses don't have special exemption as far as I can tell. I asked for that from the city manager. Ms. Alajar didn't give me anything other than the 3 dates that we recited. Other than that, there's been no information given. So I said, well, who has the special exemption? How do I get it? And to what I got in my response was, here are the dates. You're not allowed to have special exemption. And I said, huh? So I called her and I said,
Who called who?
Ms. Alajar. And that's who I spoke with again and said, well, okay, who can I talk to about getting to the bottom of this situation? And she said, you would have to speak with Miss Ireland. And I said, okay, I would love to speak with her. Could you transfer me over? She said, no, I'm not allowed to do that, but she'll call you back. I said, okay, no problem. I waited a full 2 days, which is in this paperwork here. I waited a full 2 days before contacting her back and actually finding Miss Ireland and calling her directly. calling her, leaving her a message and saying, hey, I'd love to speak with you about getting a special exemption, or finding out how to get a special exemption, wondering why some businesses have the ability to put stuff outside and other businesses don't. Never responded back. I called her on 3 separate occasions, not one time if I received a call back. I also called the city manager on 3 separate occasions. I've never heard a call back. Called the chief of police, was stonewalled and said, we're not in charge of that. I don't know what you're talking about. He wouldn't have any idea what you're talking about. So the road stops there. And I said, okay. And so from that point, and that was from the final note, or from, yes, I believe the final notice. From that point, I haven't put anything outside. I've been, okay, I'm gonna see where it goes and see what's happening. But on my daily drive through Jacksonville Beach, there are 30 to 40 plus businesses that have items outside on a daily basis that are all for sale. Some of them hang sale signs, some of them have banners, some of them have sandwich boards, which I'm not sure if they're allowed either because they're everywhere. And then there are others that have balloons hanging from their, for instance, Mavis Tire has tires outside every single day with balloons tied to them. They're permanent balloons, actually. They're outside every day, no problem. So, I mean, I can list, but I know you don't want to hear that. I can list 25 businesses on 3rd Street that have issues that I personally don't care about, but for some reason we're being persecuted to a level that nobody else is. And I actually called 80% of the businesses that are listed here, short of maybe 3 or 4 that like were corporate organizations that didn't really have a response. Every single one of them said, I have no idea who Miss Nikki Beavers is. I've never heard from anybody in the city. Short of Sports Mania, who had some choice words, but they said, we just do what we want. I said, okay, look, I'm not here to say any of that, but all I'm gonna do is try to figure out how to get to the bottom of it. Because I called everybody and said, do you have a special exemption? No. What are you talking about? I don't even know what that is. Okay, that's it. And I said, I'm with T. Gregory. My name's Chris. We've been here for 21 years. And they go, yeah, no problem. So, I mean.
Let me ask one simple question. The chairs in front of that you showed, the picture you showed.
Yeah.
Someone comes up and says, I want to buy those. Are you going to sell them to them?
We wouldn't sell that particular one, or we could potentially if they wanted that one, but it's not, there's no special deal, there's no signage on the piece.
Well, I mean, I would tell you that if the item is there and it's part of what you sell, whether it's got a price tag on it or not, I would assume that that's something, an item for sale. I am troubled though, I would have to tell you that the ordinance says that this is the relief for someone and I'm being told that you can't get relief that way.
And so, also, the businesses that he is referring to that are on 3rd Street are also in the central business district.
I am concerned about fairness.
Right.
I can't possibly know the circumstance for each one of those in terms of
What's the central business district?
circumstance. So
Sorry to interrupt. What's the central
It's a
business
portion
district?
of,
Where does it go?
I would have to give you a copy of the
Okay, all
map.
right. But it's
Why
on
would
3rd?
they have,
But you guys are
if
not.
they're all
in the district.
Jacksonville Beach, why would they have special privilege over us at the corner of 10? It's just not fair. If you're gonna allow them.
let me just first ask, Ms. Beavers, what is your recommendation?
My recommendation, which has also been stated by the planning director, is that the merchandise is not allowed outside unless there is a special event permit that has been applied for, and they are allowed to use that special event permit for outdoor sales 6 times each year. And as I stated, if there are other businesses that are in question, again, you don't know if they're in a PUD, you don't know if they're in the central business district.
Okay.
All those things fall into place in regards to other businesses. I don't just go out and
But there's no
single.
way for anybody to know.
It is.
Okay, let's not.
So,
I just, but they're just like 2 blocks north of us. It's Circle K sitting there. They have cases of water, they have firewood, they have ice boxes out there, they have their moving around boxes out there every single day. And so how do they get a special exemption and we can't? Because they're a chain and we're a local individual. And it just doesn't seem fair that y'all will give all these chains, all these people a special exemption, but your mom and pop that live around the community and support the community, you say you can't put a chair outside.
Mr. Coakley, you're on this one.
yes. So So as he just stated, in regards to businesses like Circle K, why are they allowed to have, Chris mentioned to me, an ice machine. What's the difference between them having that type of merchandise out? One, it's a gas station compared to a furniture store that they want to run.
Or Dollar General.
It's merchandise for sale.
I understand where you're coming from.
So stuff like the ice machine and the propane tanks, those are items that cannot be stored inside the store. So that is one reason why you will see the propane tanks and stuff like that outside. Now, as far as packs of ice, those types of things, not ice, packs of water, they have been cited and stated before that they cannot have those items outside. So again, when you talk about places like Sports Mania, who will say, I'm gonna do it anyway. You can't just keep, one person, I'm the only officer out here, so I would be going in circles all day, every day,
And that's what I'm trying to.
because somebody, but they are being
I've heard
cited.
about why it is or isn't.
Right.
So, we've been threatened, I'm
I'm
not,
done, I'm good. I got it.
So Christian is,
I know you're concerned, I understand.
I can't just
Let me
ask
hear
you a question
what
about the
if anything-
fines. That's my question.
Let me hear what, if anything, Mr. Coakley has.
Go ahead. You should find an amendment for all that out there.
Just to add one other thing, by law, if this is what this is, wouldn't 28.7 be null and void because the wording is not true to fact? If we are doing what we're supposed to, obtaining written permission from the city manager, chief of police, 28.7 would therefore be null and void. I mean, that's what I learned in the few law classes I took, but also the obstruction of any kind within or upon any street, alley, sidewalk, footway, park, beach, pool, surf, extenuating circumstances, we are not in any of those areas. Like, by law, by letter of law, we are in the clear.
I don't necessarily agree with you, but.
it's in your parking lot, so you cannot use your parking lot.
There's no spaces in
Here's
here.
what I'm gonna do.
Mhm.
I don't know that Mr. Coakley's gonna find a magic bullet in there.
Is that what we're looking for, a magic bullet? That's scary.
Here's what I'm gonna do. When's our next,
The 29th, our next hearing?
yes,
No, the 22nd, November 22nd.
I think it's the 29th.
Is it the 29th? I think we changed it from the 22nd to the 29th.
I'm gonna continue this matter to the next hearing. I'm gonna ask you to submit in writing to the city manager and to the police chief a request for an exemption, permission, what the ordinance requires for. And I'd like to see some formal response to that before I.
We get an email through their.
No, I want you to do it in writing.
Okay.
And
To bring in on that date, or just to send it out?
I
Sorry, I'm just trying to
suggest
hear that.
you do that within the next week.
Okay.
And that, we can continue to the 29th and see what response we get. I'm being told, and I don't have any reason to believe that they don't typically do this. The ordinance says it, that they do. And, again, I can't predict what response you'll get. But, in the meantime, do I understand that you brought the items inside?
Yeah, there's nothing outdoors, okay, short of, I mean,
We hang wreaths.
we hang some wreaths on our drive.
So keep it that way between now and the 29th and submit the request, and we will hear this matter again on the 29th and see where we stand at that time.
November 29th?
Yes.
But can we give them the address that we're supposed to be sending this to, or?
I imagine both of those officials are here in City Hall.
The police chief would be in the police department.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right, they were in a different place.
Yeah, I've contacted all of them, and so
I know you have.
if you have any interest or any way to get in contact with them better, I'm all for it.
That's not my job, but I'm looking for some formal response.
Okay.
Can you just explain the special, event permit and how they can apply for that?
That's not.
But it's not necessary. I mean, we're familiar with how Sportsmania does it. We don't do special events. We've never had a special event.
We've just been putting a few pieces of furniture out for 21 years.
Okay, all right, we got it, we got it. You heard what I
Yeah.
what my order was saying, I'll enter an order to that effect.
Okay. Are we dismissed? I don't want to turn my back on you.
You are,
Okay.
you're free to go.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Yes, Gillian.
Yeah.
Sorry. Put on the spot.
All right, we are gonna move to, Mr. Middlebrooks is present for ACA Investments. That's for 412 North 7th Street. So we'll skip down to case number 2362. And this was a continuance, in regards to a building
Papers
permit.
and the shipping.
Yes, yes.
How are you doing today?
Doing well.
Good. Let me hear from Ms. Beavers first.
So, like I stated, this is a continuance from, our case from last month. Mr. Middlebrooks has started the process, in regards to submitting, documentation for the container. I think we were waiting on the engineer information. And so we can just let him explain where he is at this point.
Okay. Mrs. Middlebrooks, you want to raise your right hand?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Chris Middlebrooks, 3567 Water Chase Way East, Jacksonville, Florida, 32224.
How you doing today, Mr. Middlebrooks?
I'm doing well. How are you?
What kind of progress are you making?
I'm supposed to have the engineering drawings today, so I don't have them yet, but I had to change engineers. I don't know if you remember. I had an engineer engaged, and I guess they had some sort of health crisis, and then I basically had to go with a different firm who I went under contract with, I think about 2 weeks ago, and they're supposed to have the final plans out of, final approval today. As soon as I get the plans, I'll apply for the permit.
And again, my recollection and understanding is that it was simply a question of whether you can meet the city's engineering standards for keeping the container on the property, and if you do so, then that'll impact how much of the papers will be removed.
Correct, yeah, so the building official said it just had to meet 130 mile-an-hour wind rating. Mr. Popley, that was just in here, said it has to meet the 35% lot coverage. And it's multifamily, but it's zoned single family, so it has to meet 35. I can't apply for an exemption because it's legal non-conforming. So as soon as I get the engineering drawings and apply for the building permit, assuming that it gets approved, because I did what they said to do, at that point, then I'll make whatever modifications I have to do to the container to, comply with the building permit, remove however many papers I need to, have the container relocated where it needs to be on the property, and just have another lot coverage survey done to complete the permit.
Ms. Beavers?
I'm looking at our next hearing, we're probably gonna,
I would think that'd be,
January.
probably.
To give Mr. Middlebrooks enough time to, obtain the documentation from the engineering, make any necessary, changes that Mr. Popley and the building officials have, advised them that need to be made. So our next hearing would be January 24th.
In the year of 2024.
Yep.
And basically that will be to complete compliance. By
Yes.
doing the steps that Mr. Middlebrooks has just described.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Middlebrooks, is that, you understand that?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. Well, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We're gonna move on to animal control. We'll go back to, item A.
You've been patiently waiting now. And that would be case 2710.
Yes.
Okay.
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and your position.
Isis Crack, Animal Control Officer for the City of Jacksonville Beach.
And would you tell me your name again? You can speak a little softly and,
Isis Crack.
all right, will you spell that for me, first and last name?
Isis, I-S-I-S.
Okay.
Crack, K-R-E-C-H.
Okay. Officer Craig, go ahead.
So, Ms. Cobb was initially cited for a rabies vaccination citation, but she last week came to me with the updated forms. She paid off the citation, so she is fully in compliance, and there is no further action needed.
So the animal has been vaccinated, so
Yes.
compliance is no issue.
Yes.
Okay. Any recommendation, Officer Craig or Ms. Beavers? I assume we just enter an order saying compliance is no issue. Okay. Officer Craig, very nice to meet you, and thank you for coming, and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, moving along, we are going to move back to case B, which is case number 2394. This is 823 3rd Avenue North. This was in regards to a building permit not being obtained for the pavers in the driveway. I'm sorry that this came out blurry. It was a rainy day that day. But they are in compliance. They have completed, they have submitted a sufficient permit application which has been approved by the building department. So this case has been closed.
Okay, very good.
All right.
Love this case closed.
Yep. All right, moving to our next case. This will be case number 22603 at 620 South First Street. This was in regards to a building permit that was not obtained during our last hearing.
Okay, all right.
During our last hearing, the property owner had contacted me and stated that the P.O. box that the violation notice and notice of hearing went to was not a sufficient
Was this on the
address.
agenda last month?
Yes.
Okay.
And so he gave me an updated mailing address. I did send the certified mail to the updated mailing address for the violation of not obtaining a building permit. As you can see on here, there was a stop work order issued by the building officials in regards to the fence and the structure that was being built in the rear. As of today, our office has not received a sufficient application from Mr. Rushing, so I would like to initiate a daily fine until they come into compliance.
All right, I will enter an order
Real Estate Holdings at 127 South 16th Avenue, case number 23-128. This is in regards to defacement of the property and also the closing of a vacant structure. As you can see, this property is a nuisance. I originally contacted,
So is this a residence?
it's a vacant structure, yes. It is
Is it a
residential.
structure? It looks like a residence. It was a residence anyway.
Yes. So I initially contacted the city contractor in regards to boarding this structure up, and to paint over the graffiti that you see on the property. The city has limited me to $500 in regards to any type of boarding and securing, and that would exceed what it would take to secure this property. So that's why I brought it before you today, to see if we can get some type of compliance from the property owner. I did send a notice of violation, certified mail, for today's hearing. I did receive a signature card back, so they were notified and received the notification, but I haven't had
Communication from them?
none. So as you can see, the fence also is dilapidated. There's an upstairs unit as well that's unsecured. And the boarding that they put up has not been sufficient. As you can see, it's been pushed in. The picture on the right is a little dark, but the door, you can't see it, but it's not even there. And this was the original notice that I had posted on the property to have the city contractor give a notice that the city contractor was gonna come. They did come and remove it, but they still did not contact me in regards to what their plan was. I spoke with the building official, and he stated that the property was not buildable, so the only option that the property owner had was to demolish it. So no demolition permit has been submitted.
Well, I will enter a order finding a violation and imposing a $250 a day fine.
Okay. That concludes all our cases for today.
Okay. Again, I apologize about having to change the date on this one.
So the next one is
Almost 4 years
on
doing this is the first time.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we'll have another one at the end of the month